Hey Fishos, welcome to Addict Tackle How-Tos. My name's Jason. I want to touch base on versatility on combos, do's and don'ts, and especially for our jacks, our target species, this time of year. So a few people fish spin, a lot of people fish bait casters. There's a good reason and a bad reason to use and not to use each one of those. So I'll start off with my spin first. So with the spin gear, you get quite a bit of versatility out of one combo that you want to buy. So if I was to buy something from Jack's, I'd 3 to 5 kilos, 4 to 8 kilos, generally a good all-rounder for what you want to do, 3 to 4,000 size spin reel. And that will pretty much cover your Jack side of things, bait fishing in the river, heavy side like that. If the boys are spinning for spotties in close offshore, you've got the versatility to use this same combo for that. They want to go barramundi fishing up north, well, you can still do that with this rod as well. So you get a bit of bang for buck out of what you want to do. If you think you want to get a bit fancy or get into it a bit more, you need a bit more accuracy with your castability, well, that's where we start jumping into bait casters. So bait casters, if you can master these things, you'll get more distance than a spin reel. You'll get twice the accuracy as a spin reel. And because our drag is direct one-on-one, it's not going through a weak point like your roller bearing or anything like that, you get the full strength of your line at the same time. So it does have its good points. Castability for these guys, look, if you're fishing out of a boat, you're flick casting, skip casting, you've got to get into mangroves and all that. Around that 6 feet is enough for you. Going too long is going to hinder a lot of that castability. If you're swim baiting for flathead and things like that, well, you do want a longer bait casting rod for that application. So accuracy with your casting is detrimental for these fish, your Mangrove Jack. Look, reason being, a lot of the fish we're striking are this far from the rock wall or this far from the snag. So if you've got no trees or structure and just a rock formation, you pretty much will throwing onto those rocks and dragging that back into the water. That strike will happen in that first sort of 60 to 100 centimetres off that bank. So it's detrimental you get those there. Another reason is we got overhang from our mangroves. So a lot of time you'll be jack fishing and you can hear boof, 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 but everything is totally inaccessible. This is where we're getting our skip casting in and getting under those mangroves to get into that strike zone. Once you've got in that strike zone, look, it's either a twitch or the lure on the fall, the fish are going to have a crack at it anyway. So once you've got that initial strike, a lot of it's load up straight away. If you've got a boat driver and they're good fish, you've got to get that gear out of that structure as quick as you can. Sometimes with your surface lures, you'll get that boof and the fish has smacked your lure but hasn't set the hook. You won't realise that until the fish is already gone. So you're either on or you're not. You're flicking pontoons in places like that. Sometimes you feel you get a hit, then all of a sudden your lure's stuck on the base of the pontoon. These are reactions you've got to be ready for. So a lot of the time when you are lure fishing for them, there's none of this looking at the scenery and what's going on and the birds flying past. Stay connected to your lure, no slack, and keep a visual on what you're doing all the time. So on that side, bait casters I feel do have their points. One bad point I don't like about them is they're not specifically a saltwater reel. So you do got to maintain these guys. We've got a lot of centrifugal forces coming off, braid that holds water, so that water's getting sprayed each time. So if you spend $500 on a reel, there's none of this going fishing, throwing it in the garage until next fishing trip without giving it a wipe down and a wash. No, it won't last long for you at all. So, and with that, look, some of my favourite reels on bait caster sides have my Curados and your PGs, my 13 Concept Z2s, which are a cracking reels, ceramic side. So if you're worried about the saltwater protrusion in your reels, these guys have got ceramic bearings. There's nothing to worry about. And a couple of your commuters, your Komodos and your Hakai are probably some of the best casting bait casters you'll strike on the market in this moment in time. Kuma have come a long way for what they are, and I'm still getting used to and the feel of the reel, so I haven't quite bought myself one yet, but it's my next port of call. But my heart at the moment leads more towards my Curados and all that sort of with micro module gear in it. So if you guys are struggling getting distance, or you're getting into it and you don't want a lot of birds next backlashes, these guys bang for buck and simplicity to use. My heart's set with these straight away, sort of thing. So same deal, give them a gentle wash each time you use them, you won't have an issue. But if you're not sure on how you want to get started and what you want to do, we will direct you in the right gear for your castability, for maximum bang for buck, for what you want to do, and longevity. So hopefully that'll help.